So every day we are bombarded with the negative news about the Middle East, the conflict and death that turn outward to the rest of the world. Most of us can't help think, why can't they just all get along? Why do the people in the Middle East have behaved this way? What started all this, and can it not be resolved? Most people do not have the answers to these questions, most likely including you. I love history, and many answers can be found in the past. The answer is the League of Nations and its mandates, which was founded in 1920. So you may be asking, how is a defunct international organization created 100 years ago relevant to my life now? It is more relevant that you know and affects our lives every single day. We need to go back to the start of the First World War. As the war loomed, the Ottoman Empire sought protection but was rejected by Britain, France, and Russia, and ultimately formed an Ottoman-German alliance. Also during this time, the British began to conceive plans to dissolve the Ottoman Empire and to expand the Middle East interests. They had three strategies. One strategy was to turn the Ottoman Empire's Arab subjects against its government. Britain made an alliance with Sharif Hussein to revolt against the Ottomans, promising him his own kingdom that would cover the entire Arabian Peninsula, including Syria and Iraq. The second plan was when Britain and France entered into a secret agreement which gave control of the Ottoman provinces to themselves when the war was won. The third agreement was the Balfour Declaration. Lord Balfour, the Foreign Secretary for Britain, wrote to Baron Rothschild, a leader of the Zionist community. In this letter, he gave the official government support to establishing a Jewish state in Palestine. These were three conflicting agreements made by Britain, promising three political futures for the Arab world. The Arabs wanted their Arab kingdom promised through Hussein. The French and British expect to divide the region among themselves, and the Zionists expect to be given Palestine, which was promised by Lord Balfour. Germany's loss in the war resulted in the dissolution of the Ottoman Empire, under which most Arab countries had lived for centuries. One of the League of Nations' jobs was to divide the Ottoman lands. Eventually, these agreements were to be administered by the League of Nations under their mandate system. These mandates were a legal way for the control of the Ottoman lands to be transferred following World War I for the administration of territory on behalf of the League. In fact, the mandates were just a cover for victorious Britain and France, who were there for their own strategic, economic, and ideological purposes. The Middle East, as we know from today's headlines, emerged from decisions made by the Allies during and after the First World War. Great Britain and France transformed what had been relatively quiet provinces of the Ottoman Empire into some of the least stable and most internationally explosive states in the world. As a consequence, these agreements and ultimately the mandates are at the heart of the current conflicts and politics in the Middle East. The League, led by Britain and France, drew up the borders we see on the modern political maps of the Middle East. The borders were drawn without the regard for the wishes of the people living there, or along ethnic, geographic, or religious boundaries. They were truly arbitrary. The League of Nations mandates granted the French Saudi Arabia and Lebanon, to the British Mesopotamia, which was later known as Iraq, Transjordan, and Palestine. After the dismemberment of the Ottoman Empire, new national identities, citizenship, and social class came to coexist with, or challenge, or even replace the identities of clan, tribe, and religion. Many felt that the British and French had simply gone ahead and arranged the world to suit themselves. Then, in 1922, the British created a Jewish state in Palestine, which angered the Arabs and increased tensions because both groups saw this as their land promised by Britain. The Jewish people did not get the promised Palestine, but only 33% of it. The Jewish people and the Arabs still hate each other and still refer to the conflicting agreements and promises made to each by the British in the League of Nations 100 years ago. The consequence is continued war through war and strife. It is important to know that even today, political borders in the Middle East do not indicate different groups and people. The differences between Iraqis, Syrians, Jordanians, etc. were entirely created by the League of Nations mandates, which divided the Arab world against each other. a consequence that is seen every day in our modern world. Resolution requires setting aside 100 years of conflict, forming new alliances, and finding new solutions. The area's instability dominates the world's headlines, fuels fear, and disrupts economies, and there appears to be no end in sight. So that debunked organization from 100 years ago made decisions that still affect our lives today. Thank you.